All right, we're here inspecting the golden hive today. This may be the first one that I've done a full-on video recording of. I know I've done some partial recording here. I'm going to try to position this camera to have a good view and not to fall. Take a look here. All right, this is my friend Chris.
Hello.
All right. So Chris, you may want to come. I told you we had a lack of, all the bees have gone in there, and that's what they tend to do with the smoke. This powder is pollen substitute powder.
Oh, okay.
And you know, I told you I thought that they were lacking the pollen stores that they need. So I provided that powder. Here's some more on the top. And they have eaten, or they've either moved or consumed some of this, not really made a huge impact down there. The other thing of note is this is a Swiffer cloth, and it's used for trapping small hive beetles. So you can, we'll show, we've got some little beetle, those little black things there are the shells of small hive beetles that got their legs stuck in this, and they died. And so that's kind of a good little trap. This is called a divider board.
Okay.
And it just separates the space that belongs to the colony from the rest of the hive. Now,
oh yeah, I see the honeycomb in there.
Yep. These two frames, I'll move over here so you can position yourself there to see what's going on in there. These did come from a cutout. These came from a cutout of one of those utility boxes in someone's yard. And the comb that you see down there, and I'll lift this up for the camera. This comb at the bottom, that came from their original colony. And what I'm doing is looking to see, I'm going to try to shake the bees off of, oh, they don't want to shake. I don't want to be as aggressive as it would take to shake. I'm not sure they're using that for anything. So I will probably end up taking those two away from them now. Now this next one, this was also from that original cutout. Oh, what I did there, I took, oh, this would be good for, somebody had a question on one of the YouTube, or not, sorry, the Facebook groups that I'm in about how we do a cutout, and I'm going to use that to show them that I used rubber bands, or in this case balloons, to secure them to the frame. All right, so this frame, they kind of did some cross combing. So you see this one has an extra layer of comb there, which is in the long term not good. Boy, that's heavy.
Oh wow.
Now the reason that a frame gets to be heavy is usually that it is full of honey, and all of that white that's at the top is capped honey, and the rest of the cells are, you can come over here and look close. So you see the glistening? That's nectar. They've taken nectar from flowers and they're drying it. They're going to fill those cells and wait until it's an appropriate degree of dryness, and then they will cap it with wax on the top. And when it's capped, that's when it could be harvested.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
And so if I decide that they don't need this for winter, then I could take and process the honey from this in a month or two.
So in a single frame like that, how much honey would that yield?
If it were all honey, now this has some pollen in it. If it were all honey, it would probably be about, I think they've said for this size frame, about 15 pounds.
Wow. 15 pounds of honey just in that one frame?
Yep.
Wow, that is a
Now
lot.
here, this is white because it's fresh comb.
Yeah, there's nothing in that, right?
Right.
They've still got to fill that
And
with
they
nectar.
just made it.
Okay.
And all of this is capped honey. And they've got a little pocket in there. They're using both sides here. So to harvest this, I would have to use, at least on this part of it, I would have to use a method called crush and strain, which means that I would be cutting the comb out and crushing it down, and then using a filter to strain the wax out. Not my preferred choice. And if I did that with this one, what I would be trying to do is to keep, and here I'm just removing some dead bees that got crushed between the frames. I would be trying to keep as much of the honeycomb intact as I can so that I could give it back to the bees next year. And
So will they reuse? They'll reuse the comb.
if it's in good shape, they'll use it. So if I put if I scrape off the wax cappings and take the honey out of this, then they would, and I put it back in the hive, they would fill it again with honey and put a new cap on it.
Oh, that's cool.
But I would only want to put a regular and uniform frame in, so at least a part of this I would end up cutting away, and perhaps I would see if I could salvage any of it.
And now you smoked them in the beginning to kind of calm them down. How long does that last?
Not long. They are right now. They're just in a pretty docile mood. It seems like they. So, what they can do after they've been smoked is at any point that they realize that they're not receiving the signals that they'd like to be able to receive, they can use their legs and kind of wipe the smoke particles off of their antenna, and then you'd have to smoke again to get the effect back. But obviously
I'm
they're
just
not
fascinated at how. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm just fascinated at how calm they are.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I just always expected that, kind of like a wasp nest, you open it up, they just go all over the place. And
these guys tend to be a little spicier than my other hive, and all of them, but both hives, they will get a little more defensive as I start to get down into this end, because this is where the brood is.
Oh, okay. So now are you just going to go through and inspect each one and make sure everything's looking okay?
Yep. Basically, I'm looking for pollen, and on that last frame, I did see quite a bit of pollen. All right, now this is going to be an interesting one for you. Oh, so we've got a couple of bees that have pollen on their legs.
I see them. Yeah.
Big pollen. Let me see if I can show this for the camera. You've got some they almost look like pillows on the legs of the bees, and I can't really see what the camera is capturing, but hopefully you can see those bees there. All right. And the other thing that's going on in this frame is the larvae. Oh, I almost put my thumb on one. Sorry. All right, so if you come in close, you can see this cap. See how the difference between this cap and this cap?
Yeah.
This is capped honey, and this is capped brood.
Oh yeah, I can see one moving around in there.
Yeah, you see the little. They look like little worms, or almost like maggots, and they grow in those cells. And ideally, you should be, if you find some young larvae, you should be able to look in and see the liquid that they're growing in if they're well fed. And it's obviously they're getting fed well enough to mature, but I don't see, they're not swimming in the food, although they're moist, so that's good. So they'll grow in the cell for a while, and then the bees will cap it, and they'll spend about 12 days capped, and then they'll emerge. And sometimes we catch it at just the time where you get to see bees emerging.
Oh, that would be cool.
Now, up here, you see some of these cells that are not capped honey. They don't have nectar in them, but they're not brood. They'll have something white or something orange or something brown down inside. Can you see a few of those? And that's where they're storing pollen.
Oh yeah, I see it in there. Yeah.
So there's a nice little band of that right through here.
Yeah,
And,
you can see a couple of them up there too. Oh, that's neat. Yeah.
And when I was here the other day, I was not seeing hardly any pollen anywhere. And that's why I started to feed them. And then the rain stimulated the flowers, and now it looks like they're bringing in pollen right and left. So now, did I turn that the right way? I need to mark my, I think that looks right.
We'll say you're asking the wrong guy here, because I don't know.
Nope. As I look, I had that pollen substitute dust on the top. Oh, the other thing I need to do is make sure that I have looked at both sides of this frame. I know I bumped you a little bit, didn't I? Sorry to disturb you.
I said they definitely are moving faster than they were a minute ago.
Yeah, I annoyed them a bit. I was just looking to make sure I don't see the queen on this frame. Yeah, I know. Boy, I'm getting a little loud. All right, those will calm down. Now, while I'm thinking about it,
Mark the frames.
yep. So those frames that I said they weren't doing anything with, and I would probably take them away. When I get ready to put out a swarm trap, I can drop one of those frames in there, and that old comb will make it smell like this is a good beehive.
Oh, okay.
Now this one started, oh, there's the queen.
Oh,
She's got the yellow dot on her.
Oh yeah, I see her. Wow.
Now you see how much longer she is than the others?
Yep.
The main characteristics that you use to recognize the queen is you'll notice that her wings, in proportion to her body, are much shorter. With the worker bees, their wings extend almost back to the end of their abdomen. Hers go about halfway. Also, the striping on her back is not as pronounced. Right now, she's laying an egg. She just tucked her abdomen down into a cell.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. And so I'm going to see if I can. So right now we've got lots of nectar at the top. Oh, what I was starting to say was this was a frame of what we call foundation. It's just a sheet of wax imprinted with just an outline. All right, so take a look here. Right down into these cells. You see those little tiny larvae?
Oh yeah.
They're about 2 days old.
Oh wow.
Maybe 3. So
really taking a lot of self-control with them. As you hear them like buzz right next to your ear, it's taking a lot of self-control to just calmly stand here and not bug out.
So this was just a flat sheet of wax, and they've added depth to the outline of the cells.
Oh, that's neat.
And they'll continue, once they get it all deeper, they'll extend it down the frame. And this is the first time in a while that I've seen them making, and see how much depth they've added on this side.
Oh yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah. So we've got brood on both sides. We've got nectar and honey at the top. The queen is clearly, she's laying in frames that aren't ready yet, so I think space might still be a factor in this hive. Now I'm watching the queen, because the main thing you want to do is make sure you don't accidentally crush the queen, and so I can see her right there.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yeah. Now this frame, I want to see how they're using it. This is one that I took, I thought they needed some additional built-out comb, and so from that cutout I took some of the old comb from the hive that absconded, and I offered it here to them. And I want to check to see if they're doing anything with it yet.
It doesn't.
I don't
look
think.
Like
yeah,
it.
I don't think they are. These bees, if they're doing anything, they are cleaning it. Oh, yeah, they're putting some nectar on this side.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
How do they make the wax?
They secrete. There's an organ that they have that secretes little sheets of wax. They almost look like scales. And I marked it, but it didn't. Not much of the ink flowed. It was supposed to be a 4. Looks like a 1. All right. So the wax scales come from in between some of the plates of their body, or the scales of their body.
Okay.
And they'll pull it out and work it into place, mash it up, and make it fit for what they want it to do. All right, this is another honey frame. And this one probably also started out as a sheet of foundation. You can see the pollen on these two.
Oh, yeah.
They've got lots of nectar here. They have used this in the past for, this was one, this came from my other hive. I brought this one over to help this one out with brood on it. And they used it, I think, oh, this is interesting, I've never seen this. You can see where they just put those little pouches of pollen in there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not compacted down yet.
Huh.
So probably another bee will come along and work it and mash it up. But these guys are just finding a cell and dropping their pollen in.
Oh, yeah, there's one right there, the big old white,
Yeah.
2 white pockets on their legs.
Yep. But I brought this over from the other hive, and they've used it for brood for a while, and now it looks like they're repurposing most of it, at least. There may be some little larvae in some of those cells, but it looks like they're going to turn this into mostly a honey frame.
Oh, that's cool.
And here they still have some brood on this side.
Oh, yeah, I see them.
The caps. But most of that is going for honey too. So that's why the queen is over on that other one, because they're wanting to store honey mostly here. So the proportions of hives are built very precisely. They use a measure called bee space.
Okay.
They discovered a size where if a gap is encountered that's wider than than 3/4 of an inch. If it's 3/4 of an inch or wider, then they will fill it with comb.
Okay.
If it's narrower than 3/8 of an inch, then the bees can't move through it. So if you leave all of the gaps between 3/8 and 5/8 of an inch, then 3/8 and it's a little more than 5/8, but 5/8 is kind of accepted as the standard measure for what's called bee space. Now that's interesting. So there was, last time I inspected,
I think you're squishing one down there on the corner. There we go. There we go.
Yep, got squished.
Oops.
She'll die. So this is what the foundation looks like, more or less, although this is aged and weathered, and when it starts out, and they haven't done anything to that, it's warped from the heat. And this is the old comb from that cutout. And in this case, I don't see that they're storing anything here. They may still be cleaning it up for future use, or they may simply have decided that it's not worth using. But in a pinch, it would give the queen place to lay more eggs, so I'm going to leave it in for now.
So they seem to get a little agitated when you pick that one up for some reason.
Yep. Now, when I looked at, there's something weird going on. Something weird to me, at least.
On the
floor. Last time I was here, I noticed there was a lot of kind of this brownish black detritus at the floor, which I thought, and I still think, come on, bee, get off of there. I thought was just them cleaning up those comb from the other hive.
Oh yeah, all that black stuff down there?
Yeah. But now I see that it's being formed into these trails. Now this is where they're taking that foundation that you see down here. See, they're adding depth to it up at the top.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to set this just up here. Now if you are lowering, like if you've got bees in a space and you don't want to squish them, if you just kind of wiggle it back and forth like that, they'll get out of the way. I'll leave that there. I'm going to try to scrape up a little bit of it. It's so weird. Oh! Okay, this is a problem. What I'm seeing down there are, it's the larvae of either small hive beetles or wax moths.
Oh. Either way, we don't want them in there.
Oh, that's right. So I need to try to clean that mess up a little bit. Don't do that, Scott. Slow and deliberate.
That's all stuff from wood. You said wood beetles, or what kind of?
I believe it's wax moth. See the grubs there? Like
oh yeah.
Maggot.
And those will go on. Will they eat the wax?
So, oh, that's interesting. Looks like they were starting to seal up the entrance for some reason. What I'm doing is scraping scraping this stuff off the bottom. Just look at that. It's just writhing with those maggots.
That's gross.
I'm sure glad I caught it when I did.
Now, are fire ants usually a problem with beehives?
They can be.
I know those ants will love that honey.
Fire ants usually are going for protein more than sugars.
Okay.
Bees can generally defend their hive from most attackers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've got, oh boy.
There's some more down in there?
I'm seeing those maggots and crushing them.
Oh, okay.
So that has changed my view. Instead of leaving this comb,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take that away from them. Ah, there's a wax moth.
Oh, yep, I see it. And will the bees sting that and kill it?
I don't know. They would probably try. Bye bye, birds.
There go the dove.
So I'm not sure that they have adequate population to defend themselves against all the larvae that could hatch out of that. So
I'm walking back because this one's just kind of, I don't know if he doesn't like me or he just keeps buzzing around me. But he's talking.
yeah, no worries.
You're right though. As soon as I got to that tree, he completely lost interest and went away.
Yep.
Uh-oh, did our ember die?
No, it's coming back. Yeah, you just want to go back to the hive. Stay away from that frame. Alright, got all the bees off of it now. Alright, so now I'm going to start putting this back together. Although I think I'm going to put this one, instead of it being on the end, put it closer towards the middle.
Just so they do more with it.
Yep. Now this one I think was the one that they were storing nectar in.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So we'll leave them that one.
Is that the one that had the queen on it? Or is that the previous one?
I think it was the next. Well, it might have been this one. Nope, it's this one.
Okay.
She's still on it. Okay, so this is where, even on times when I don't need to use a lot of smoke, I use the smoke to get them
out of those cracks so you can close it up.
Yep.
They don't. Yeah, we don't want to squish them.
All right, that gives me the space to do a little more cleanup and get some of these sticks out of there. No, messed up your little cocoon and you're running for the hills now.
Oh, is that the little maggots?
Yep. Sorry, this got longer than I anticipated. Sure, I'm glad I took another look at what was on the floor.
Yeah, me too. Get that cleaned up.
So a good healthy hive can defend against small hive beetles if you don't give them too much space to have to defend. And between that comb, there's the other one that I added that they are making some use of.
Yeah.
And these that they're not really using either. That I think was just giving them, they couldn't keep up with that and what was on the floor as well. So they would have had quite the explosion of wax moths. And I don't know if they could have recovered from it. I know they can usually defend, but when you get... So if all of those simultaneously started to get on the comb and lay eggs on the comb, then the next generation would be eating the wax. And I didn't see any sign of damage to the comb, so I think we're okay. But probably putting that protein powder or that pollen substitute on the ground was not well timed. If I had waited a few more days, we wouldn't have needed it at all.
And you're going to remove those two?
Yep. Just not gonna give them any more space to maintain.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not using it.
Yep.
Now, did you build this hive box, or did you
I
buy
bought
it pre-built?
I bought it.
Yeah, they've definitely, as you put each of the
frames back
each
together.
Each of the frames back together, then the whole hive is
calmed down.
very obviously calmed down a lot.
Yep. That's one of the advantages to this type of hive. So the hive that you've probably seen the most of is the one where you've got a box and you stack another box on top of it.
Yeah.
Another box on top of it. And that is very effective for commercial beekeepers who want to get large amounts of honey. Especially, what I'm going to do, what I'm using is some twigs to lift that. I need to add a couple of screws as my spacers, but for now I'm using twigs to keep that divider board a little bit off of the actual floor.
Oh, okay. So
the bees can pass under it.
Gotcha.
But I don't want to use those because I think we probably have the wax moth larvae attached to them.
Gotcha.
And so I'm going to give them some additional twigs here. I know, I'm almost done. Be patient with me. I've got one loudly telling me they wish I would stop.
Yep, I had one loudly telling me the same. So this is the closest I have ever been to a beehive, and I am just highly impressed at just how patient they are with us interfering with their little home here.
Yep.
They're a lot more patient than I would be with someone digging through my stuff.
All right, and so for now, they don't even know that we're here with all of that put back. Oh, what I was going to tell you was on the other frames, the other hive types.
Yep.
These frames have a spacer out here, but they're cut away in the middle.
Oh yeah.
So they don't meet. So if you open up that box, immediately the entire hive knows that somebody's there and somebody's messing with them.
Oh, okay.
In this case, as you saw, I kept them all pushed together except for the one I was working on. Some of them at this end, some of them at that end, and that did annoy them a little bit. but they didn't feel the need to come out in mass and defend their hive.
Yeah.
Sometimes in those the Langstroth hives, if you lift one box off of another, they immediately all start flying, going, "What's going on?"
Oh wow, yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are done here.